Good evening, everyone. Coming to you live from the unseasonably warm, normally frozen wastes of Buffalo, New York. This is Rich, and you are listening and watching to BeerForge with John and Rich. I'd like to introduce my co-host. You know him from his occasional guest appearances on Starsky and Hutch. Please say hello to Menoth John.
Hey, everybody. I am coming to you from the exactly seasonably warm place of Augusta, Georgia tonight. And I am absolutely thrilled to be bringing you this evening of fun and frivolity that only Keyforge can bring us and can only be sponsored by our patrons at patreon.com.
That was
BeerForge,
smooth.
Mr. I know, right? It's like I'm professional. Scott Hebel, Steve Halterman, and our newest at the Forge Sun level, and I apologize, Art, if I am butchering your name. I believe it's Bagorski. Thank you for joining us at the Forge Sun level for that $1 pledge. Thank you,
It all matters. It all
all
keeps
of
the
our
lights
patrons.
on. Yep.
Hell yeah!
And this is awesome because now we're up to 3, and it just makes me really happy because
Woo!
it's fun.
That is
And
exactly one more than two.
then I know, right? And the next person that subscribes, I'm gonna have to change the size of the font on the thank you page. That's a big
Ooh,
deal.
that's a big step. We're if it, don't you want to be the person that causes us to change font size? I mean, literally, is there? You can tell your kids and your grandkids. Back in the day, kids, back when Beer Forge was, something that wasn't ruling the airwaves in much the same way as Fox News and Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. I made them change their font size one time.
Oh, I forgot that show existed. And now it's back in my head. Um,
Oh,
so yeah, thanks for that. We'll keep this brief because we're gonna go a little bit slower tonight on the games. But if you sign up on the Patreon, we got some cool benefits. We'll send you the deck lists and good stuff like that. And
some keys were making up for us,
yeah,
and
and
boom.
oh, speaking of which, I got to get those at the post office for you. And
Yeah.
yeah, maybe a sticker. I think those showed up at my house too. Just saying.
Beep.
So thank you very much. You don't understand how much it means. It means a lot.
It does.
You know what else means a lot, John?
Yeah, you know what means a lot is alcohol.
This is true, and you want to tell us about what you are partaking in this evening.
Yes, I am partaking in a Belgian tonight. I There's a Belgian brewer named Chimay that is from Belgium, and they make beer there. And the Belgians know how to make some beer. Damn it!
They sure do. It's my
And
favorite
this
type.
one,
Just saying.
I know JP, if you're listening, doesn't care so much for the Belgians, but that's okay. It is I believe they call it a special or special or something like that. It's 7% alcohol. It is that very typical kind of Belgian flavor that you get. It's got kind of it almost tastes like it's on its way to a wheat beer. So it's got some sweeter notes, some very spice oriented notes on the clove side of the equation. I'm at a hotel, which I'm at a Hilton Garden Inn for God's sakes, and they had it on tap. So you can't argue with that. They did charge $14 for a glass of it, which was a
Ooh,
little expensive.
oh, that hurts.
Uh, yeah, for a pint. But I only had one, and I'm sharing it tonight on the Beer Forges. So, what do you have in this evening, Mr. Rich?
Uh, that's really cool. And if you do like this, might I recommend the Blue Chimay? I
Okay.
like that one slightly better, but this is fantastic. I am having from Boulder Beer Company in, you wouldn't have guessed, Colorado.
Boulder,
Something
Colorado. Yeah.
I know, right? Shake chocolate porter, and I first had this a couple years ago, and a very good chocolate porter. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly bitter. It just kind of sits right in the middle, and it's on the heavier side, but it's not so heavy that, well, I'm gonna have one and that's it. You can have two of them or three of them. Especially if you're not driving. Um, Only comes in at 5.9%, so it's again not super off the wall heavy, but it's just a great chocolate beer. I think it's
It's
awesome.
called shaken. It's not a milk stout, is it?
Correct.
Okay,
I
weird.
like triple
Sure.
checked the first time I had it.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can get this, and they have pretty good distribution. Like I said, they're in Colorado, and I can get it in Buffalo, so you can probably find it near you. Highly recommend.
So when Rich and I were talking about what we wanted to do with tonight's show, what we wanted to do, one of my former brush heads from the Painting with Menoth John show, he still needs to learn how to play the game. And the Keyforge is not a difficult game, but we thought what we might do with tonight's show was try to at least give some instructions on the basics of the game as we presented it. As we're kind of going through our decks, which is sort of the next thing that we do with the show, we'll kind of what the cards do and how they're used and things like that as we explain them. So, Rich, why don't we go ahead and I'll talk about my deck first.
Sure.
I decided to pick a deck this evening that didn't have any of the three kind of boogeymen of the houses. There's no Untamed, there's no Dis, and there's no Shadows. It is Boundless Buffalo Claudius, and it is a Logos Brobnar Sanctum deck. Now, what that means for those of you who haven't played it is in Keyforge, and I apologize, folks. I'm very sniffly tonight. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's the pollen count. I'm not usually really super allergic to anything, but I'm very sniffly tonight, and so I'll try to not make it gross for y'all. But in when you play Keyforge, each deck has 3 houses. Okay, each house has 12 cards. 12 cards are 4 different types of cards. There are actions, which are cards that you play out that immediately take effect. Basically, you play the card and you read the text that's on the card, and that's what happens. Okay. In this case, I've got Blood Money up. When you play that card, you place 2 amber, which is kind of the currency of the game, and you put that on a common from the common supply to an enemy creature. 2 little tokens, and you put it on a creature. And we'll get to what a creature is here in just a little bit. Then there are creatures, and creatures are cards that have a power, and when you play them out onto the field, a power that they actually fight with. Okay, and for instance, right here is Headhunter, and when you put that card out there, it comes in what's called exhausted. So you have it on its side. It does not get to fight or do anything that turn, much like Magic the Gathering. In the case of Headhunter, when it fights, it gains 1 amber. Somebody else, you gain 1 amber.
Yep. So it's you will see a couple of commonalities between this game and Magic the Gathering, and that's because they were designed by the same guy.
Exactly. So we're going to use different terminologies, and some of them will be very common. Some of them might be slightly different. We'll try to do our level best to explain kind of what's going on.
Yep. So did you talk about artifacts yet?
I was about to do that. So artifacts are things that when you play them, they go out onto the field and they come in exhausted also, but they after they are exhausted, they may have an action that you can take when the house that you're playing is active. Each turn, you can only play cards, unless there's a special rule, that are from a specific house. So if you declare that you're going to play Logos, you can only play cards that have the Logos symbol on them. Sanctum, you can only play cards that Sanctum. And that means also for your active creatures as well. You can't fight with them. You can't with them unless they have that particular house.
And of course, there are exceptions to the rule, and you'll see those cards. They'll say hey, this card belongs to all houses, or an ability that says Omni, Omni, and that means you can do that no matter which house is active. And don't worry, You won't miss it. It says Omni in bold letters on the card.
So The last category of cards is called an upgrade, and an upgrade can be played to any creature that is out on the board. Does even though you have to, let's say, play Brobnar to put Blood of Titans out, you can put that upgrade on any creature, whether it be Brobnar or Sanctum or Dis or what have you, that's out there. Okay, your
Sounds
turn.
great.
You're going to be able to play as many cards from the house that you called as you wish. Them from your hand, but you can play any number of them, and you can play them in any order that you want. So that's a lot of the depth of the game is what cards do I play when? What house do I call when? Many of those cards and what cards do I play and in what order? Because order of activation makes the difference. Okay? Aim is to collect amber.
And
6 ambers make a key.
Usually.
Usually, unless there's a rule that changes that. And the object theme is get 3 keys. 3 keys, you win. Last thing that I think we really need to cover up front is the order that a turn takes place is first, you forge a key if you can. And you must forge a key if you can.
You know what? We should do that in the game.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll go over that in that game.
Okay.
You want to talk about the rest of your deck quick or no?
I think we'd probably be better off just to kind of get to the game if we want this to be more of a beginner's thing.
Okay. So John has like a run-of-the-mill deck here. My deck for you veterans out there is an oddball because it only has 10 creatures in it. And this is the deck I got at the sealed deck last weekend that I took second place in. Because I forced this deck to do some terrible, terrible things. But it was weird, and it's probably the most success I've had with a extremely low creature count deck.
It's got 10 creatures in it, which is way under the curve.
Oh, way. I like playing decks that have 19 to 20 creatures in them.
Yeah. I have a deck that has 22 creatures, and it's really fun to play a deck with that many creatures.
Now, that's not a hard, fast rule where low creatures equals low performance. It's just a preference thing. And part of Keyforge, as opposed to Magic, where you build the deck to suit your playstyle, Keyforge is the opposite. You change your playstyle to suit the deck.
Exactly. You have to.
So let's get into our online interface here.
But this is called the Crucible. It's online. If you are a new player, it is a perfectly good way of playing. Please realize when you play on the Crucible, if you're playing against people you don't know, you're going to see some OP nonsense out here. So people tend to play their very high-powered decks. But if you become a patron of the BeerForge podcast, we will play with you online if you would like.
Yeah.
Sometime we'll play with you.
Oh, you cut out, John.
I know. I've got bad hotel.
There you go. Bad hotel.
Are you there?
Yep. No,
I have
you.
bad hotel internet. I apologize.
So, join up, Patreon. We'll play games with you. And special shout out to Tracy, a.k.a. Sassy Greyjoy, who I will be helping learn the game tomorrow.
Fantastic.
So
I just started the game. Rich has the first turn. He will draw 7 cards on his turn, but he will only be allowed to play 1. On the other hand, I will draw 6, and I will get to play as many as I want. Now, the first step in the game is we look at our decks and our hands, and we'll decide, keep this, or do we want to mulligan?
Important note here, the first player, like John said, draws 7. The second player draws 6. Determining who goes first, of course, RNGesus takes care of it for us here. But in person, you may do a high, low roll, or a heads, tails flip. The important thing is, if you win the flip, you don't get to choose to go first or second. You will go first. That's how it's stated in the rules.
Yep.
Downside of going first, you're only allowed to play 1 card. Fortunately for me, I got the best possible card I could have turn 1. And I'm going to keep this hand. Mulligan, you go down 1 card. Same rules apply, just like Magic. So you would shuffle those into your deck and then draw 6. Or the Crucible will just do it for you. But in this case, I'm going to keep my hand.
Okay, and I'm keeping my hand as well.
Okay.
So go ahead and lay out your first card, buddy.
So the first thing that would happen, and you can see on the right there, it says Sergeant Easton, that's me, does not forge a key, as they have 0 amber, and the current cost is 6. The first thing that happens on your turn is you attempt to forge a key. It's not an option, it has to happen.
That's correct.
Unless, of course, there's shenanigans.
There are cards that are shenanigans. There are cards that allow you to forge a key during your turn.
Yep. And there's also cards that say your opponent skips their next key forging step.
That's correct.
Miasma, and I hate it. So you see now, and this same thing in person, when you're playing this on a table, choose which house you want to activate this turn. So I am going to choose House Shadows. I always thought it looks like Yoshi's egg kind of thing from Super Mario, but I don't know.
You're not wrong.
So I can play 1 card. I'm going to play this card called Treasure Map.
Oh, there you go. And
Yep.
It scores you 4 amber.
Yes. So I'm going to put my cursor on this. Oh, whoops. There we go. So this is an action. And you can see in the upper, if I move my mouse off of it, it'll move the card. But in the upper left corner, there's an amber icon that'll just give me 1 for playing the card, no matter what else happens. And then play in bold means if you successfully did this. If you have not played any other cards this turn, which I have not, gain 3. For the remainder of the turn, you cannot play cards. Special situation, because it's turn 1, I can't play any other cards anyway. So, seems like the right time.
Yep, exactly.
And that will be my turn. So I'm going to hit end turn. And now it is John's turn.
Okay, so in my case, usually in my case, what I'm looking for is I want to get a lot of cards out if possible, because moving cards along is a great way to be successful in this game. Okay, yes, I have a very evenly distributed hand, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the cards that I think are going to net me the most opportunity to going. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play Logos, and I'm going to play a card called Wild Wormhole. Wild Wormhole gives me an amber, plus it allows me to draw another card. And when I draw that card, I actually play it. Okay, so I played Wild Wormhole. The top card was a card called Staunch Knight. It automatically played. It's Sanctum. Playing Logos, it still plays because that's how the card works. It takes the top card off my deck and it puts it in play. Now, was play another card, but it would automatically damage this card. It's okay though. I'm still going to play it. I'm going to play Twin Bolt Emission, another amber. I will do 2 damage to the Staunch Knight, which only damages its armor. And I go to 2 amber.
So the real reason,
which is not as good as him.
The real reason John played that
go ahead.
is because if you see there in the upper left, whoops, where'd it go? There we go. In the upper left, it gave John an amber. And yeah, he may have damaged his own guy, and he has armor, so it doesn't really matter. But he played that because generating amber is really paramount in this game.
And armor regenerates every turn. And a turn is my turn and Rich's turn. A round is those 2 together. I would, as you can see, I've got the armor back. It didn't hurt me at all. Now it's Rich's turn.
Armor heals at the end of the turn. Damage on a creature is persistent. Just a big difference there from Magic. So I am going to once again choose House Shadows. And you can see down here I got a couple cards. So I'm going to play these Shadows cards. Now, the first thing I got here is an artifact called Special Delivery. And this is actually, so I gain an amber just for playing it. And then you can see it actually has something I mentioned earlier. It has an Omni action where you can sacrifice it and deal 3 damage to a flank creature. Flank creatures are the creatures that are on the end of the battle line. The battle line meaning all of your creatures that are in play. When you cast a creature, it has to go on the left or right side. For now, that's going to change in the upcoming set, but we'll get there. Have to go on the far left or far right. You can't put it in the middle or in between creatures. The creatures on the end are considered to be flank creatures. So this artifact, when I sacrifice it, would deal 3 direct damage, not fighting, to a flank creature. And then it says if this damage destroys that creature, purge it. Think back again to Magic, where it would be, quote, exiled. It doesn't go in your discard. It goes in a separate area that you can't bring it back.
It's out of the game.
Right. So then I'm going to cast the same... I have another copy of the same card. Just run the clip back like 30 seconds. And then I'm going to cast a third artifact called Seeker Needle. And you can see here, action, you Magic veterans, just imagine it has the tap logo on it. Deal, that probably dates me because it probably doesn't say that anymore. Deal 1 damage to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, gain 1. Nice and simple.
Yep.
And so that's the end of my turn. And just like on the tabletop, the last thing you do in your turn, or second to last thing, you ready everything, and it does it automatically here. And then you draw up to your max hand size, which Crucible handles for you. And now it's John's turn.
Because you have 6 now, you're getting ready to forge a key, so you are check.
Thank you.
Supposed to tell your opponent that you have enough amber to forge a key, and you say check.
Check.
I'm going to play Sanctum, and I'm going to play a card called Terms of Redress. This is an action. I'm going to gain an amber because it has that logo on it. Then I'm going to choose to take 2 of his amber and put it on Staunch Knight. Capturing. Okay, when the amber goes on that card, it's called capture. If it says steal, it goes in your amber pool that you can use to forge keys.
Now, I learned the capture part a little bit incorrectly, so this is actually a good point of clarification here. When captured, you see that it says capture, so it goes from my pool onto that card. Regardless of where it came from, whether it be a common supply or an opponent or whatever, it doesn't really matter. When a creature with amber on it is destroyed or purged or leaves play in any manner, doesn't matter, amber on a creature goes to the opponent.
I think there's 1 card in the entire game that allows you to leech a captured.
Yeah, it's like, I think it says move from something, but the standard rule is it comes off of the card and goes to the opponent. That's it.
Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reap this card, and I'm going to reap with this creature, and what that means is I'm going to exhaust it, and that's going to gain me an amber. Even if it doesn't have the keyword reap on the card anywhere, you can always reap that creature, rate you an amber. Now, I'm going to play another creature here called Sergeant Zekiel. I'm going to play that creature on the right-hand side. That's going to allow me to ready that creature. Now, it says, Sergeant Zekiel says you may ready and fight with a neighboring creature. There's nobody to fight with. You can then reap with that creature and gain another amber.
Actually, yeah.
It's totally legal.
It is legal because... So there's a rule in this game called the do as much as you can rule. So if you read this very logically, when you play the Sergeant Zachiel, you may ready and fight with a neighboring creature. So very literally, Staunch Knight readies. Staunch Knight cannot fight because there is no other creature. Staunch Knight stays in the ready position. Then you can use it to do whatever after.
And I choose to reap because that gains me another amber. Then I'm going to play a card called Take Hostages. It's an action. It gains me an amber by playing it. It says play for the remainder of the turn. Each time friendly creature fights, it captures. There's nobody to fight. So I'll just gain another amber. And my turn, and now I'm check.
So you're probably picking up, folks. Wow, John and Rich are really blowing through their decks here. That's the idea. Typically, the faster you go through your deck, the better you're doing. And when you reach the end and you need to draw, all you do is shuffle your discard into your deck and keep going. Unlike Magic, when you exhaust your library, the game's not over. All right, so let's see here. What are we going to do? I think we're going to play Shadows again. This is crazy to me. So, yep, we're going to play Relentless Whispers in action. And that 2 damage sign, that's straight direct damage. It's not fighting. So, that's what the number means there. So we're going to do that. And do that to Sergeant Zachiel. The first one was absorbed by his shield, or armor. The second one got through. So you can see he has 1 damage. Then, we're going to keep it going here. We're going to sacrifice the special delivery to do 3 damage to the flank creature.
And that will kill him.
It sure will. Then, we're going to cast Urchin. And we'll cover the ability when we actually go to fight with him in a minute here. Or later on. And
well, you play it, and it steals 1.
Oh, it's on a play. Yep. So as soon as you successfully play it, you steal 1 amber. So now I'm back up to 6. And
yep, and I'm no longer in check.
Yep. And now I'm going to play Silent Dagger, which is an upgrade. And again, it uses that flank term. Reap, deal 4 direct damage to a flank creature. Now, thing to keep in mind, obviously I put this on my own creature. You don't have to. You can play upgrades on your opponent's creatures. You may think, why would I want to do that? The reason is there are some offensive upgrades. For instance, I have one called Collar of Subordination in another deck that lets me take one of my opponent's creatures.
Boy, if that's not a kick in the old wing wang, let me tell you what.
I know, right? So that'll be it for my turn. And you are up, John.
And he's back in check again.
Yes,
hey, this time
I keep forgetting to say in check.
Going to play Brobnar. There's no way I'm going to be able to stop him. His key. So I'm just going to try and turn and burn here as much as I can. I'm going to play Blood Money. I'm taking 2 amber out of the common pool. I'm going to stick it on Urchin. Why am I doing that? Because Urchin's easy to kill. It's elusive, but it's only one health. So I can kill that with a lot of different things. I'm going to stun. Now, stun means that he can't do anything with that creature until he exhausts it and unstuns it. And when he unstuns it, nothing happens. He doesn't get any amber. He doesn't get to fight with it. It just unstuns it. And he can use it next turn. I'm going to play War Drummer. I'm going to play that on the right-hand side. Normally, that would bring some stuff back into my hand. It's not going to because I don't have any other Brobnar creatures out there. I've got another Tremor. I'm going to play it anyway. I'm going to put it out on... I'm going to stun that Urchin again. Boy, is he stunned. On it. So he's got just that 1 stun on it. Then I'm going to play Headhunter. I'm going to play that creature on the right-hand side. When he fights, he gains an amber. And that's going to end my turn. And you are going to score a
key.
Forge a key.
Yep. So you can see down here, there's these little icons here, and that says Forged Key. A little word quick on the official tokens. Don't feel you have to buy the official tokens from Keyforge. They only come in a starter set that has 2 starter decks, which you can't use in organized play, and they're pre-made, and they're just don't. And they come with 2 regular decks also, and the cardboard tokens. Do yourself a favor, buy 2 decks, use some other tokens from some other game system, and get started that way. Fun fact, neither John nor I have the official tokens in this game. And if you want actually some good tokens, Tectonic Craft Studios, look that up. And tell Dan that John and Rich and BeerForge sent you. So, I am going to play this turn. So, this card, I'm going to use this action. Destroy a creature that is not on a flank. So that War Drummer is gone. Straight up kills him. We're going to play the Terror. Get him out here. Another creature. Just going to put him on the right side. And then Fear. So this is an action. It says play, return an enemy creature to its owner's hand. Now, you may think, okay, well, if it goes to his hand, then he's just going to play the thing again. Who cares? But it slows him down because he's not going to be able to use it again. And then furthermore, he has 2 amber captured on Staunch Knight. That will make that amber immediately go to me because the card leaves play. Just like that. And I think that's probably going to be it for this turn. So then I am done. I'm going to end turn. And it's now over to John.
And as you can see, things are starting to get a little bit away from me. I've got 5 amber, no keys. He's got 3 amber and 1 key. We're going to play, this is going to be a Logos turn. I'm going to start with a card called Library Access. Now, what this is that for the remainder of my turn, every time I play a card, I'm going to get to draw another card. Good thing. So I'm going to start off by playing that. Then I'm going to play Lab Work. Lab Work, I gain an amber, and I get to archive a card. So I'm going to archive this one right here, which I'm not going to say what it is, to play Nouveau Archaeologist. When I play that creature, that's going to allow me to draw another card. And then I'm going to play another card called Transposition Sandals. That gets me a... and it will allow me to draw another card. And now I am out of cards I can play. I'm at 7, so I will say check and turn it back over to my co-host.
Okay, so John has declared check. We're not going to let that stand. That sounded a little harsh. So we're going to play this turn. And my wife's favorite card, Charette, we're going to play here. And when she comes out, captures 3. Just captures 3 right off the bat. Then we're going to use Special Delivery, I think. Or are we going to use Secret Needle? I think we're going to use Special Delivery. So we're going to sacrifice this because it's an Omni ability, which means I can play that ability no matter what house I called right now. So I called this, but I'm going to play this Shadows card because of that ability. And deal 3 damage to Nouveau Archaeologist. And then the Terror is going to Reap. Friendly reminder, every card reaps, even if it doesn't say Reap. And if it says Reap something else, you'll gain an amber and do what it does on the card, or what it says on the card. And this is a little out of the box here, what I'm about to do. So, you see down here I have Secret Needle. It's House Shadows. I can't use it right now. However, I have this card called Poltergeist that says, use an artifact controlled by any player as if it were yours. Destroy that artifact. When it says I can do that, it doesn't matter what house it is or who has it. This will also give me an amber for playing it. So I'm going to do that on my Seeker Needle. And Seeker Needle has an added bonus. Deal 1 damage to a creature. If that damage destroys that creature, gain 1. So we're going to use the Seeker Needle on that same Nouveau Archaeologist. And then I'm going to gain another amber. Sure.
Really good.
What's that?
It's a really good play.
Thank you. Now that did cost me my my artifact, but again, we're going to cycle the deck if it goes that far, so it doesn't really matter. It's going to come up again. And that brought me up back to 6 amber here. So now I'm going to end my turn in check again for my second key now.
Really getting ahead of me at this point. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to play Sanctum to not bring my archives into the hand. Now, archive cards come in when you declare your house. You can decide if you want to bring your archives in. If you bring any archives in, you got to bring them all in. So I'm not going to bring my archives in at this point. I'm going to play Sequus on the right-hand side. I'm going to play Lady Maxena. I get to, on the right-hand side, I get to stun a creature. For creatures that have things that happen when they reap, and there are none, but I will go ahead and stun the terror, just because he's the most high-powered creature. Play Staunch Knight. Play that creature out on the right-hand side. In terms of redress, we played that one earlier. This is another one of them. And I'm going to put 2 of his amber onto Lady Maxena to give her an upgrade called Protect the Weak, which is going to give her an additional armor, which is going to make it harder for him to get those amber back. To end my turn. Now, I'm at check also right now.
This is true. So
He is not.
We need to think here for a minute. Do some strategery. Let's see. I don't think we're going to do that because I got a bunch of stuff that's stunned. But you'll notice, because I haven't played this house, that my hand is filling up with that, which is kind of a problem. But I think this is the better play for right now. And the reason I say that, I'm going to choose House Dis. The reason I say that is upgrades on a creature go to the discard if the creature leaves play in any way. So I'm going to play Fear and then return Lady Maxena to John's hand. Causes Protect the Weak to go into his discard and me to get the amber back.
That is correct.
And that's all I'm going to do this turn. That's all I can do this turn. So check, and now it's back to John.
All right, so I'm going to go back with Sanctum this turn. And the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to... I do not want to take my archives in. I am going to fight Sequus, kill Charette, gaining those 3 amber. Then I'm going to fight with onto Urchin. Play Sergeant Zekiel on the right-hand side, which is going to allow me to ready Staunch Knight again. The Urchin and get those 2 amber. And then I'm going to go to Lady Zekiel. You just put back in my hand. And I'm going to stun the terror. This is the end of my turn, and I'm not check, but you forge your second...
My second key.
Second one.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, that was a little enthusiastic, I guess. So, you can probably see here, I really need to play Untamed now. So, it's an Untamed turn.
This is going to not end well for me.
It's not that crazy.
A lot of amber.
So, the first thing I'm going to do is play Full Moon. It's an action for the remainder of the turn. Gain 1 amber each time you play a creature. Now, in most decks, that'd be a lot better than in this deck because there's only 10 creatures in this deck. Then I'm going to play this card, Dust Pixie. And if you're thinking, hey, wait a minute, there's 2 amber icons there. Yes, that means you gain 2 just by playing it. And I just cast Full Moon, so I'm actually going to gain 3. Next up, let's see here. We're just going to blow through this stuff. Nocturnal Maneuver. Exhaust up to 3 creatures. And it gives me an amber. Now, you have to remember at the end of your turn is when you ready creatures. So I'm going to exhaust these creatures now on John's side, and he won't be able to use them until his following turn. So you just select them like that, and then hit done. Then, Vigor. Heal up to 3 damage from a creature. If you heal 3 damage, gain 1. It says up to, so I'm going to choose my own guy, who is not damaged, heals 0, and still gain just the 1 from playing it. Then I'm going to play Scout for the remainder of the turn, up to 2 friendly creatures, gain Skirmish, then fight with those creatures one at a time. And also gains me an Amber. So I only have 2 creatures here. It says up to 2 friendly creatures. This guy, I'm going to pick him, but he can't fight because he's stunned. So he'll attempt to fight, which is actually just unstunning there. And that will be my turn, and end of game check.
And I think you got me. If I try to go with logos, the only thing I've got is Twin Bolt Emission. It only gains me 1. I've got nothing. I have no stealers on my side. Nothing that steals anything. That in mind, I am going to I can capture. Hang on, I'm going to play Brobnar.
Okay.
I can go Unguarded Camp. I'm going to take in my things here. I do Unguarded Camp. Play that action. I capture. So I'll put 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. I'll capture 3 Amber. I'm going to play Punch. 3 to Dust Pixie. Put out Crump play that creature on the right hand side. The leader, which says I can turn each friendly creature may fight. Now I think that means I can reap with the. No, I can't fight. Let's see. I can.
What are you doing right now? You
There.
follow leader. Yep.
I'm going to fight with him. And then I'm going to. Oops, I screwed up. I should have. Fact, but that would have come in exhausted.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I gain Amber. Doesn't matter. And end of turn, and I check.
So you're probably seeing now, this game can really go back and forth a lot.
Really can a lot.
And it's pretty awesome that way. So, I think, what is it? War Chest is for enemy creatures that were destroyed during a fight. Okay. We're going to play Untamed. And we're going to play John's Nemesis, Hunting Witch. That is, each time you play another creature, gain 1. And then I'm going to play a Snufflegator, which is just a fun card to say. Snufflegator has an ability here you see called Skirmish. When you use this creature to fight, it is dealt no damage in return. That's when you are the instigator. You're the attacker. It's as if it hits the other creature before the creature can hit it. In Magic, the term is first strike. I think that's going to be it for me for my turn. So you get a key, John. Nothing I can do about that.
Yep. And you are not checked quite yet.
Nope.
This is a Sanctum turn. We're going to start off with Terms of Redress. Action, we're going to take 2 of your Amber. We're going to stick it on Lady Maxena. We're going to put it on the outside. Then we're going to Reap 1 of your Amber, gaining me an Amber. Then I'm going to Reap with Staunch Knight. Then I'm going to Reap with Lady Maxena. And then I'm going to be done. I'm not checked either, but we are at the exact same. Well, I'm a little ahead now.
So you can see how this is really going back and forth a lot. Oh boy. Let's see. So I'm doing something interesting, and this is people's discard piles are what's called open information. I can look at John's discard, and he can look at mine at any time. Doesn't matter. Obviously, don't be a jerk about it, but just saying. So I'm going to take a look here. Those armor is always a problem for me. Now I'm gonna see what else is in my draw pile. Again, this is actually a Crucible only thing. Now this is not the order in which my cards are going to come up. That's just showing what is still left in my deck. And if I had a super memory, I could just look at my deck list, my discard, mark down what's there, and figure out what's still in the draw pile. They just kind of do it for you. So, I think what we're going to do here is play Untamed. And Snufflegator is going to fight. And, ooh, boy. Lady Maxina, what are you doing? Man. We're going to kill Staunch Knight. So I get that amber. Hunting Witch is going to reap. And then I think I have an interesting card here. This is why I'm looking at John's discard pile here. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of did that wrong. Steve will find it when he watches. Definitely could have done a better play there. So we're going to play Mimicry. I think. No, I need Amber. That's what I need. That's what I should be concentrating on. So, I think the right thing for me to do is to do that. So I'm going to play Mimicry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to... Wait a minute. Does it say... Oh, it does say opponent. It's not anyone's. Whoops. Okay. So this card's interesting. When you play this card, treat it as a copy of an action card in your opponent's discard pile. So we're going to play... I kind of screwed this up. We're going to play Twin Bolt Emission, I think. Actually, no. We're going to play Wild Wormhole. And the card I got was Vigor. Oh, perfect. Heal up to 3 damage. We're not going to do that. We're just going to pick my guy and heal 0. And, oh, hey, what's up, Steam notification? And then we're going to end my turn at check. And now it's over to John.
Okay, so it's become very critical that I be able to steal some amber, or else you're going to. Okay, so I'm going to have to place Sanctum. I'm going to reap with Sequus, capturing an amber. Reap with Lady Maxina. Reap with Commander Remiel. That's allowing me to play to Sanctum creature, which in this case I will use I'm going to use Headhunter. I'm going to fight with him, which is going to gain me an amber, and I'm going to kill the witch just to be on the safe side. And I'm going to end my turn.
Oh, snap. Watch this, folks. Hang on to your butts. So we got Sequus here, who has taken 2, has 2 armor, has a total of 4 hit points, and has 2 of my amber. We're going to pick Untamed. We're going to use Snufflegator. He's going to fight, and he's going to kill Sequus. And then I'm going to use one of those cards we talked about at the beginning of the show, which lets me forge a key in the middle of my turn immediately. Play, lose 1 amber. If you do, you may forge a key at current cost. Current cost is 6, lose 1. Play that. Do I wish to forge a key? Yes. And that's the end of the game.
Well, there you go. There you see about as close a game as you could ever ask for.
And you see that if I didn't do that, John would have won next turn. Yeah. A lot of games end this close.
So it was a heck of a game.
Yeah. I think I kind of made it anticlimactic for John, though.
No, I mean, I battled back as best I could. You're really kicking butt. I think it was a darn good game nonetheless.
Yeah. If you have any questions, please shoot us a message, comment on the YouTube video, like us on Facebook, Patreon, blah blah blah. You guys get the idea. I think that about does it. We're gonna do a quick shout out here again to our patrons, Steve, Art, and Scott. Thank you so much. And
absolutely.
I'm imagining the ending Painting with My Mouth John music in my head right now.
Exactly.
So thanks for tuning in, folks, and we will see you next time.
Absolutely, folks. Have a great one, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.